Alright, bro, I'm back out here at the park, and as you can see, it's raining pretty hard out there. But I have a pretty important message for you, and that is that when you are tempted to sin, you are always capable of resisting it. Now, before you get confused and before you start calling me a heretic in the comments, everybody has sinned, and everybody is a sinner, and everybody will continue to sin. But you don't realize that when you are tempted to sin, it is always possible for you to resist that temptation. Yeah, one of my favorite verses of all time is 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13, which says that no temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can endure. And when you are tempted, he will always provide a way out so that you can endure it. So yeah, it's a pretty sick verse there. And past couple of days, I've been reading this verse every morning just as a reminder, because I think there are 3 reminders that we can get from this verse that are I think are really, really helpful. The first of those reminders is basically the first part of that verse, which says that no temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. Now obviously this is pretty confusing biblical language, but basically what it means is that when you are tempted, there are other people who have faced the exact same temptations that you do. And not only that, they have overcome those temptations. That means that people have the exact same desires that you have. The exact same, desires to lust, and these desires to be lazy or to be prideful or to be angry. But they have overcome those desires, and they've resisted those desires. Which I think is a good reminder, because it just reminds us that it is actually possible to overcome temptation, and it is possible to resist sinning. And that's essentially what the second reminder is, where the verse says that, what does it say? Hold up, I'm blanking. Where it says that God will not let you be tempted beyond what you can endure. It just reminds us that every single temptation that we face, it is always possible for us to resist it, and it is always possible to endure that temptation. Now, just to clear up a misconception, some people read this verse and get confused and think that temptation is from God, but there's a verse in James chapter 1 which makes it super clear that God does not tempt us, and that temptation is not from God. And finally, the third, and in my opinion the most motivational part of the verse, is where it says that God will always provide a way out of sin so that we can endure it. Now, this doesn't mean that it's going to be easy to resist sin, because obviously sin is an evil desire that we want to commit. So naturally, it's just gonna be hard for us to overcome it. But I guess this part of the verse just reminds us that God will always provide us an escape from temptation. That God will always give us a way out of that temptation so that we can resist it. Now, this doesn't mean that the way out of temptation is going to be a huge, obvious sign. But I think the more you meditate on this part of the verse, the more you realize that every single time you are tempted, God really does provide a way out of that temptation. It's kind of hard to explain if you haven't really experienced it yourself. I don't know how else to describe it except for just that God provides you with those ways out of temptation. But yeah, that's all I've got to say for this video. If you enjoyed it, if you found it valuable, then you can subscribe to my channel to keep seeing my videos. But yeah, other than that, God bless, bro.